Welcome to Portland Industry Insider. Acting is the name of the game today, and we have an actual actor with us as our guest. She is a triple threat. She is not only an actor, she's the mom of an actor, and she's also a model as well. So we're going to have a lot to talk about for this episode. She's represented by the Option Agency here in Portland. Her name is Tiffany Fajan, and it's so nice to see you again.
Great to see you too.
Yay!
Yes.
We go way back in kind of a interesting way, because I did product photography for your in-laws business, like way back when, way back when, and then we crossed paths at a business breakfast. Power breakfast. And it was a powerful breakfast.
It really was.
So it was actually fun because it was Josh from the Portland Film Festival and one of his guests whose name escapes me, who was screenwriter and all that kind of stuff. So that was an interesting one.
That was awesome.
So, and then you came and did headshots with me, which was so much fun, which is, all
And then we talked for like 45 minutes afterwards.
And then 45 minutes of conversation afterwards, and that was that. So it's really nice to have you here. So you, as you told me before we got together, you weren't really an actor as a kid. You loved it from a distance, but you weren't really an actor. Did some modeling, and now you're doing both. So kind of give me just a feel for that trajectory.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I am not one of those actors that just was born acting. You know, I didn't do theater in high school, elementary school. I didn't start till I was an adult, basically. But my sister and I we would be the ones to perform at Thanksgiving, and we'd be the ones, hold for applause and perform, like Disney songs and stuff like that. So we definitely loved performing. And it just I've always been an artistic person, and I had that kind of empathy toward people. So coming into adulthood, especially after becoming a parent and, thinking about the world in a bigger picture, I have connected with people, and I want to portray their stories. So in high school I started modeling, and just for friends, like photographer friends, and then after I got married, my husband and I did a lot of couples modeling, and then
You have the most beautiful family on the planet.
Oh my gosh, they're the best. They're the best. I'm not going to disagree.
There you go.
Thank you.
So let's talk about the modeling side of it for a minute. Coming up as a teenager, getting that experience, was there a point where you said, I really do have to pursue this? It's something that I really want to do. And what were the changes you made to what you were doing? What were the new things that you did to push yourself to the next level? Yeah,
I mean, it started as kind of a casual thing. I was like, sure, you'll buy me a coffee, and then we'll take some pictures outside. And but I think it really changed. I went to Kokorosha's model camp a few years back, and I think that's kind of where I was like, you know what, I can do this. I can really do this professionally. I signed with an agent, and I wanted to pursue it full force. I just have always, I loved doing it, and
What did you learn? Because there are certainly modeling schools out there that are not doing anything but taking your money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, definitely.
No names will be mentioned because we don't, need that.
Yeah.
But it exists.
Yes.
It exists.
That was very important to me to learn. Actually, wanting to take it seriously, I spoke with some family and some friends, and they were like, do you really want to do that? Like, the industry can be kind of sketchy, and, you got to look out for, all sorts of things. And I mean, I could talk about so many things, but so I had a lot of people ask questions of me, and like, why do you want to do this? So I did actually do a lot of thinking and reflecting, and I just love creating art and telling stories through art, and I've always done watercolor and things like that, always like kind of artistically. But Yeah, I learned.
So what did you learn from, I mean, interrupt you.
Yeah, no, thank you.
What did you learn from the experience of doing that Coco Rocha in New York, I guess, right? So what was the one thing you learned about that you could share with young people? Because I work with a lot of teenagers who are coming through, who are in the position you were in. They'd like to be models and, you know, and then talk to a lot of moms who are like, you know, and they want to be supportive.
Yes.
But they're also heard all the horror stories that everybody talks about. So what were the one or two things that you learned in that really solidified you as far as your ability to do it, but also your ability to manage the business of it?
Yeah, I think a lot of people can burn really brightly and then kind of give up when they don't see that success coming immediately. And I think something that I really learned from her was that not one person or one job can make or break your career. And I thought that was really inspiring and exciting to me, and it actually kind of changed my mindset, because a lot of people, you know, they get into it and they're like, I just want to be famous. I want to be on TV. I want to be in a huge commercial campaign, which is great. That's a fine thing to want. But when you don't get that right away, when you're auditioning and not getting jobs, when you are going to casting events and not being booked, it's discouraging, and I feel like a lot of people want to give up. And I don't think that, for me, that changed my mindset, because now I'm respecting the long game versus the immediate satisfaction of booking a job or, you know, getting recognition in some way.
Right.
So I'm respecting the long game.
Yeah.
That's been my motto for the last few years.
Yeah. I think that and this kind of follows along with, you know, conversations had with other people in the industry, and also follows along with the way it is for most artistic people, is that the long game is a function of doing the right thing today, doing the work today, doing the right thing today, and doing it for a long time. I was joking with somebody just before we started this, is that sometimes you just outlast the competition.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you can stay one more day, you know, the opportunity will come if you can stay that one more day past the person who said, yeah, you know, I love it, but I can't tolerate whatever aspect of it.
Yeah.
So tell me, so how did you said as a young person you liked performing and all that. How did you go from young person who liked to perform with no experience to starting to book some things? What were the key things that you did for yourself and for your craft to move things along like that?
Definitely education. I got into acting classes, and but I guess before that, it was kind of funny the way acting sort of, I don't know, as a career, sort of fell in my lap. I got signed with a modeling agency after Coco Rocha, her camp, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to do modeling. That's my thing. I'm going to do, I want to do the campaigns. I want to do the editorials. I want to do all that creative stuff. But then when I signed with my agency, I got booked on commercial jobs, and not just like print. I got booked on commercials, and I was like, wait a second.
Wait, I have to say something.
Wait, what? Hold on a second. Wait, I thought I was modeling. Why am I saying something? Why am I acting? And so I took that, and I was like, I think I should probably pursue that a little bit. And I just kind of took little baby steps and took an acting class, and I was encouraged to do that. And I think that definitely was kind of the turning point for me, where I don't just want to model. I feel like I can do more than that. And that was very empowering.
What I'm hearing from people in the industry is, certainly in some larger markets, you have modeling agencies and acting agencies, right? In New York or LA or wherever. Here in Portland, they're one and the same. Typically, some may be stronger in one than the other, but typically that's all in the same place. And I've heard people in the industry say, models are not going to hurt themselves at all by taking acting classes. By learning how to be comfortable doing that aspect of it.
You get, even in commercials, even if you're like, buy this toothpaste, you want to portray a story. You want to portray a real human being, not just like a mannequin. That's why there are ads, because they want real people to be doing these things. And I think actors have a leg up, because we're like, oh yeah, I know that person, turn it on immediately and you get the job done quicker. And efficiency is very important in this industry. Time is money. So if you can kind of get yourself to a place where you can tap into those different aspects, then yeah.
Right. When you can walk in the door and do a 30-minute job in 15 minutes,
yes,
they're going to bring you back.
Yes, absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely.
I had that experience with my kids where they walk in, they're done in 15 minutes, they're like, yep, this is it. We'll bring that kid back.
Yeah. Okay, we got it.
Yeah.
People are like, okay.
There it is. We don't have to, there's no struggle going on there.
Yes.
So, like I said in the beginning, you are the triple threat of model, actor, and mom of child models and actors now. So how glamorous is that?
Glamorous. Oh my gosh, so glamorous. Yeah, it involves a lot of packing of snacks and toys and distraction. But you know what? Like, I have always gone into it with, if my kids want to do this, they can do it. They can stop whenever they want. I'm not going to be the boss mom who's like, no, we're doing this. We're going through all of those motions. That can be a little bit damaging to kids.
Yeah, you end up paying for the therapy bills later.
Exactly. And I feel like as parents, and I live this way, not just in my career, but as parents, we want to advocate them. You're raising adults. You're not raising children. So as you're on set with your kids, you're not just like bossing some little, kid around. You're showing them how to behave on set. You're showing them professionalism and how to care for other people who are around you and being mindful. So, yeah.
Yeah. Is it fun for you?
It's very fun for me. It's so fun for me, for the most part. Some days, and this happened for the very first time, my daughter was not having it on set. She's a year and a half. And she was not having it. We tried and tried. We tried the sticker thing. Oh, look at the sticker. And she's like, no. She wouldn't do anything but be held by me. So we had to okay, we'll try again another time. So that does happen.
It does happen. It absolutely does happen.
Agents are very understandable. Like I was saying, it's a person. A child is a person. They have their own feelings and emotions. So navigating that and ahead of time expecting these things really helps.
Right. Plan for it.
Plan for it.
Well, they're planning for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they know that the meltdown is imminently possible.
Yes, they see it all day long, I'm sure.
Right, right. And that's why oftentimes they'll book more than one kid for a job, because if number one melts down and we're on a deadline.
Yeah, and we've been on that end of it. Hey, somebody just, wasn't able to get the shot, can you come in?
Right.
So then my son would go in.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I heard he always gets the shot.
He does. He's so fun. My son is really fun on set. He'll run and slide across the floor, and yeah, he's 4.5. So,
nice.
Doing 4.5-year-old things.
So, you've talked about as long as they're having fun doing it, and you're having fun doing it, there's a short shelf life for child models. The time comes. Do you see yourself encouraging them to, continue following your path, maybe modeling to acting? Do you see yourself encouraging that?
Yes and no. Yes, because I love this industry so much and I know what it can turn into. No, because I know how much pressure can be put on you as an actor and a model, especially in your teen years. You're figuring out where you're going and what do you want to do? People are asking you where you're going to college, where you're, when are you going to get married? All of these questions are coming at you so much that I'm not holding so strongly to them following in my footsteps, because I want them to do what they're passionate about. I want them to do this, of course. Anytime my son's like, I want to do acting, okay, let's do an exercise. Let's do an acting exercise.
Right.
And just kind of flexing those muscles to see if it's something he wants to keep pursuing.
Right, right. I know from my personal experience of raising child actors that it fluctuates in and out. There's times when it's everything,
yes,
and times when it's and the passion is always still, the passion's still been there. The love of it, the passion for it, the interest in it, the observation of it. But I also think that in some cases, I think in any creative endeavor, any pursuit like that, sometimes there has to be times where you just go, I'll just sit and watch this and maybe miss it a little bit, I think that's true for me as a photographer. Sometimes I'm just like, I just want to read a book. I don't want to look at any pictures. Sometimes in my whole library of beautiful photo books, sometimes just have to sit still for a while and be over there and let me miss Peter Lindbergh a little bit. I love that. I have that book on my shelf, so as I have the Herb Ritts too on my shelf. And sometimes I have to take a step back from it and let Peter be himself for a while and not get paged through from me.
Yeah, and I think yes, absolutely. And I think that's kind of where I feel like I have an advantage as somebody who didn't grow up acting and modeling, because I have changed my career path so many times. I've been an esthetician, makeup artist. I've kind of worked in restaurants, gone all over the place, that I can not only bring those aspects of myself to acting and modeling, but I am not necessarily defining myself by my career. And I feel like sometimes people are like, I am an actor. I have to love this all the time. And I have to keep on this, even if you're like, oh, you feel like you want to take a break. You're like, no, I told people I'm acting. I'm going to do it till I'm on TV. Like, this is my thing, I guess. You don't have to define yourself by your career. Let yourself be inspired. Let yourself take a break. But also, you can let yourself feel challenged a little bit. So if you're feeling like I'm kind of fading a little bit, go to an acting class, take a modeling workshop, watch some movies and take notes as like you were the one who wrote it, see, look at your scene and break down the scene. So there's a lot of different things you can do to kind of keep yourself inspired, and also give yourself some inspiration and a break.
Right.
Yeah.
We talked about that during COVID is when actors couldn't be together in space and time, that sitting in front of a Netflix, a good Netflix show, any show really, but sit in front of the good ones and look at the choices that were being made, look at the way things are being done, and don't hesitate to learn about other parts of it.
Yeah.
The cinematography part. And not that you ever have to be a cinematographer or a makeup artist or a wardrobe person, but sort of gather information in your mind about what those people are doing that you're seeing.
Absolutely.
Which can be, because that's how I see this. I open a book and like, okay, what did they do? I know there's 15 people outside that picture who all contributed to that picture. What were they doing? What were they thinking? And how did that all kind of sift in there?
Yeah, and sometimes what I like to do also, this is just a funny aside, is when I see a character that I really like in a movie or a show, I'm like, okay, what do I feel like the casting was like for this? Why was this person chosen for this? And kind of try to break down the character as somebody who's watching, but also like as if I were to audition for that role. And like, how would I do it differently? And it's kind of a fun thing to do too.
Do you ever think, man, I really could have done that?
Yeah, all the time.
Those are the characters that I pick.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Do you ever think, that person's just working at a level beyond my, not that you couldn't do it or not capable of doing it, just at this moment that person.
There are things I see that I compare myself sometimes, and wow, that person really tapped into their, very emotional, deeply saddened side. How can I enrich that part of myself to, take my acting to another level as well? And I see things as inspiration rather than things that I'm lacking.
Yeah. Hey, swinging back to the child model mom thing for a minute.
Yeah.
If there's one misconception, because I see it all the time. People call me, hey, my kid wants to be a model or whatever the case may be. And I try to help them through based on my experience of done it myself as a parent and also being around people as a photographer. What's that one misconception that you would say to a mom and say, hey, this is the one thing that people think about it that's not true?
Yeah, I think people see modeling and acting as an empty career, And I think it can be extremely fulfilling. I feel like you need to go in it with your why. Like, why are we doing this? Is it just to become famous? Is it to help people's stories be told? So yeah, really dive into your why, and then you can really see that, you know, I guess you can talk to actors and say, why are you doing this? And they will give you their answers, and I guarantee it's a lot more than just, I want to look pretty on set. It's so much deeper than that.
Right.
Yeah.
The why, what the why is not as important as knowing what it is. Right?
Yeah.
Because, and it can be a different why in different situations.
Definitely.
Like sometimes it's about making money.
Totally.
Sometimes it's about being famous. You know, and sometimes it's about the art of it all. Sometimes it's about just doing something for the, you know, I call it finger painting, right? I'm just gonna go and finger paint
I just want to do it for a little while.
I want to finger paint and get the feeling of what the finger paint feels like on my fingers, right? And I think that, you know, as a creative person, either as a photographer or an actor or a model, there can be a lot of different whys within a bigger package of that. So.
And I feel like another misconception is that it is always, I don't know, the actor doesn't matter as much as the director, or the actor doesn't model it or matter as much as like the higher up people on set. And your voice does matter. And I feel like in this industry, it's so easy for us actors to just want to please everyone so I can be rebooked. But if you're feeling uncomfortable about something, you have the right to tell them. You have the right to tell your reps, or just to walk out. And if they're, for some reason, pushing boundaries and that wasn't agreed upon before the booking or whatever, you have the freedom to do that.
Right.
And exercise safety for yourself or your children.
Right. People get fearful of doing that.
Yeah, I've never had an experience like that. And I think it's because I have an intuition that I know, I kind of can feel it out a little bit. I'm like, yeah, I know this is going to be an amazing experience.
Right.
But sometimes that's part of it, you know?
Right. Right. It's very nice to see you again.
Great to see you too.
You're a treat to be around.
Yeah.
And I knew this was going to be a good conversation when we talked the last time.
Yes.
So I truly appreciate you participating in this, and we'll circle back around and talk again.
I hope so. I would love to talk with you some more.
Right.
So
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.